What's the subject matter?
Whatever Kurt says
Hard to
it
say.
is. It's hard to say.
Hard to say.
Look at Stewie. You can tell he's smiling.
He's gonna get punched.
We should ask Chef to bring some more snowballs in the office. Chef!
Yep,
Can we have more snowballs?
yep. I'll get some.
Should we brew some coffee on the cast
Would you like some coffee?
of the pod? Am I just gonna sit here and talk to myself today?
Well, I mean, if you want coffee, you can have coffee.
I'm gonna
I mean,
have some.
I'll make you some.
Well, you don't have to make me some. I can get up. Probably the further I get away from the microphone is better.
So, that's okay though.
Yeah.
I'm diving in my notebook for topics.
Are we gonna ask the question?
Dario.
Yeah, ask Dario. He's painting.
Hey, Dario. Ruben,
Yes.
what's a good podcast topic?
Santa.
Santa!
It's coming down, guys.
I heard that he was going to stop by. Alright, so that's a topic.
We're discussing Santa?
No. The Christmas spirit.
Oh, the Christmas spirit.
Or Christmas cheer.
The cheer of the Christmas.
Holiday
oh,
cheer.
Stewie's stuck in my hair. Oh my gosh. Stewie, you don't eat hair. That hurts so bad.
That's another topic, though. That thing.
Stewie. He's not a thing. He's an elk.
He's an elk?
I mean, I don't think he's an elk by Cameron Haynes standards, but by Target standards they are. And not by Target as in let's shoot a gun as a target. It's we bought him at Target and it said elk mount, decorative elk mount. Let's see if the tag's still on the back. Well, there's a tag on the back, but that's not what about. But so you all know, there's for. I don't know.
So here's my theory on Christmas cheer.
Okay.
And it's not a theory. It's just a thought that I verbalize frequently. And that is, it aggravates me that people talk about the Christmas spirit or holiday cheer because oftentimes I have noticed that those are the same people who are jerk faces the rest of the year. And if they would just be kind all the time, they'd be happier and wouldn't have to tell me to have Christmas cheer. Because, hey, I'm pretty happy in March.
Do you have a Christmas tree up in March?
Well, no, but I'm. It's
He doesn't have one up now.
I don't have one up now, so that's not. I mean, why should we be nicer to people closer to Christmas? Why is it different? If it's good to have holiday cheer or the Christmas spirit or to be nicer to people closer to Christmas, why is it not good to be nice to people all the time?
May I have a Kleenex?
Yeah, you can have Kleenex.
Okay.
Michaela's
Alright.
giggling at me, and now I want to know her thoughts.
I want to know her thoughts, but are you going to officially open the podcast?
Yeah, we're open. This is Hospitality Authority Podcast here at the Leadership Center. I'm Kurt. Miley's here. Michaela's here. Dario! He's here.
What's up?
Say hello.
It's here.
Dario's here. He's in
He's in his office.
his office.
He's playing with a painting tool because he's working on a project for January.
He's plugged in.
December.
December? We're doing it in December?
Yeah.
Rad!
December could be in 2 days. So, I want to know, Michaela, your thoughts on what I just threw out there.
It's a really open-ended question.
Here's
You
my
know,
official...
babe, I have a napkin.
Miley shouldn't be allowed powdered things with powdered sugar or liquids which are not clear.
I don't know where it went.
So here's my official position on the Christmas cheer.
Kurt's official position on Christmas cheer is?
My absolute point is, I think it is a little silly But there is a vibe that says we should raise our kindness just because of the time of year.
Crickets.
Crickets.
I'm eating a cookie.
Then they are good cookies.
They're such cookies. Michaela, what's your thoughts?
Well, I try, operative word.
So you make an effort.
I make an effort to be kind year round.
So you effort kindness year round.
Mm-hmm. But I think I try, I don't know why, extra hard around Christmas time.
But kindness is kind of a thing you do all the time.
I make an effort to. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes everyone's not.
Wow. We just got called out on our lack of kindness.
No. Everyone, being kind is very difficult. It's very difficult to be kind all the time.
It
It
is.
is impossible to be kind all the time.
You're correct.
Little acts of kindness are actually very easy, but it is super hard to be kind all the time. Super hard.
So how do you feel about the efforting of kindness during the holidays? Is it real, like Santa, or is it superficial, like leprechauns
And sales.
and sales?
I think for some, it's genuine and real. I think for others, or probably majority, it's superficial.
Does it bother you? Do you walk through the town and interact with people and they're like, "Happy holidays, Michaela," and you're like, "Not real."
If I know the person and I know how they act, 11 months out of the year, then yeah. If they're different, December 1st to December 25th, then yeah, I know that it's not genuine. It does bother me. I don't, necessarily like fakeness. It's hard for me to be fake.
We know.
It's
I want to
hard.
play poker with you.
Hey, I have beaten my brother and my dad at poker.
You
I
wanna
want to
know-
play with them too.
You know what? Michaela doesn't like fakeness. She wants everyone to be as real, or if not more real, than her eyebrows.
Her eyebrows are real. Just for those
The
of you.
darkness. I was just thinking about that. Like, we talk about fakeness, but we both love makeup.
But I don't use that to alter my appearance. Like, it's not to deceive people of my appearance. It's something that makes me feel better.
So we've done this podcast already.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay,
If you
so
wanna
we're
know
back
more
to the
about-
holiday spirits.
No, if you want to know more about makeup, go back in the archives. It's
to episode
3.
9.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Okay, so holiday spirit.
The concept of
I
the
think
holiday spirit.
it's that whole goodwill thing, though, that, has been traditionally throughout the world leveraged in that period between, Christmas or, and New Year's, that it's kind of a global thing. I don't know if it is anymore, but I mean, when you look at back in history and stuff, a lot of times it's kind of like when the Olympics were up, there'd be ceasefires if there were wars happening because it was a time of goodwill.
I've got some problems with the Olympics too, but that's another podcast.
That's a different
on that.
podcast. Okay. Anyway, so holiday spirit.
Yeah, I mean, why is there no spirit of kindness?
Why is there no
Because-
holiday spice
Flat
flat whites at Starbucks? I don't need holiday spirit anymore if Starbucks wrecked it. Just kidding. Well,
I think it's
sorta.
really easy. One, it's really easy to be a Scrooge all year round. But I think it's extra easy to be a Scrooge around Christmas because, especially if you follow that storyline and you are very materialistic. So Christmas can cost you a lot of money if you let it. Like, if you really...
I think that's one thing that bothers me.
is that
Like-
you can let the cost of Christmas really get you down and make you become a Scrooge.
Although I guess if we're going to think about Christmas spirit all year round, have you been in a store lately? Christmas is up in July.
I don't go to stores.
Hallmark releases their ornaments in July.
It's crazy. I don't know. I think those kind of things make me a little bit of a Debbie Downer on Christmas. Like Christmas.
We just had this conversation with team members 2 days ago, yesterday,
Yeah, when we had the kiddos
about
stop there.
Christmas and how Derek did not think that Christmas was starting too early, like by putting up your tree now. Which, mind you, the day after Thanksgiving, I put up my Christmas tree because I love to have my Christmas tree up.
That's pretty common.
I know, and I love my Christmas tree.
Oh, her
I
Christmas
love it.
tree is really adorable. I saw it in person.
But I do not believe in Christmas music, Christmas displays, Christmas anything before Thanksgiving. Because I feel like we skip over Halloween and Thanksgiving. Once 4th of July happens, it instantly becomes Christmas in a
Yeah.
lot of stores.
Well, it's hard because you get 4th of July, but you've got, I mean, there's Labor Day and things. I mean, there's some really poignant things that go through on days that are kind of, they should be recognized for what they are.
Right.
That we have a rule at the Leadership Center that unless a client has booked something, we've had a few times where we've had Christmas parties before Thanksgiving, or we've had family Thanksgivings where they do their Christmas card picture. We've had family reunions who do Christmas card pictures in the summer where we've put trees up. But traditionally, we do not put out any Christmas decorations till after Thanksgiving. Now, a lot of times here, we try to get them up right after Thanksgiving just because we have so many rooms to decorate. But that doesn't always work. I was excited, though, that we got the lights up. That John Bader played light guy and got up on the roof and got the lights up on the peak and get the lights up on the house. And we get the big Christmas tree in the lobby. And this year, RTC Lighting's allowing us to use their trees that we use during the gala during Christmas, which I think is going to be really pretty. But I'm not a big proponent for Christmas before Thanksgiving. This whole Christmas spirit thing, I think I am starting to agree with Kurt a little bit more in regards to, if you really look at what the Christmas spirit is, and I suppose we should have Michaela Google what the definition of the Christmas spirit is, or the holiday spirit is.
I just think it's kindness.
It's kindness, I know. But kindness should be leveled all year round. It should be given freely. And I know that we spend a lot of time trying to educate on that and to promote that throughout our team and throughout our programs and how we interact with guests and the messaging in our social media, that kindness should just be something you do. It shouldn't be a designated 2, 3, 4 week period of the year. And man, think about it. If kindness were an action, like if there were an action verb that we did every day, that we partook in every day with each other, how much nicer things would be. I think things like this call to mind the fact that our schools have had to start the Be Kind campaigns because we don't harbor that spirit in our teachings and in our interactions and our behavior. So I think you have a reason to be a little bah humbug on that one.
No, I'm not bah humbug on it. I'm semi-anti-commercialism.
You're
It's
semi-anti-commercialism?
It's an exploitation.
Just semi?
It's an exploitation of the actual holiday, and whatever religion you are, the holiday of Christmas, is going to mean different things to you, and the commercialization, the exploitation increases and exponentially every year, and it tries to mask itself as a spirit of giving, and it's really not, because you cannot buy kindness. You can't give me something.
Do you
to
suppose
show
that
you're kind.
it is commercialism and it's also some kind of middle ground to say holiday spirit because we've got Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Christmas, and I apologize because I'm sure I'm forgetting others, but then we also have those who don't believe but do like to embody that spirit, and or might not ascribe to a religious belief of the holidays, but do ascribe to the spirit of them. Does that make sense?
Probably.
So.
I don't know if that makes sense. That's why I said probably.
If
I'm just
something
not
we
sure
all
what you're saying.
view as universal is actually not universal based on perception, how does it affect our interactions?
It's ironic you say that.
All right. Don't you think?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I've decided that there's no such thing as common knowledge.
You've decided
Yeah.
that there's no such thing as common knowledge.
Right. So even when I pose the question, is Christmas spirit kind of a silly thing when you should just be kind all the time? That concept of Christmas spirit, you even suggested that Michaela Google it.
I did. There's scientific mumbo
Right.
jumbo.
So when I say
Is
it,
there?
I closed it out. The Scientific American had this whole analysis on Christmas.
right.
spirit,
So if
where-
I say
why this time of year specifically?
why
is
this
more
time of year
important.
specifically, it's more important. So
Yes.
and I'm guessing the scientists are going to they're going to say something about day length in the northern hemisphere. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
they talked about the
They
day
are.
length. They talked about is the end of harvest, and people are looking for warmth and comfort because it gets dark quicker. But they did emphasize that this should be practiced year round, not just at Christmas time. But
Mhm.
their beliefs, their
Findings.
come from Scrooge, and what Scrooge went through with the three ghosts, and those are what comprise Christmas spirit.
Which is a lot of anecdotal data, not empirical, concrete data.
No.
Right. And back to what Miley was saying about the universality of some things that aren't universal. There you go. Because we haven't defined what
And
we
they
all
mentioned
mean.
that
We
it's
haven't
different.
agreed.
People act different ways in different parts of the world.
Does it say, though, that it's kind of this time of the year everywhere?
My skimming, it didn't see that.
Well, if you look at day length, then it's just northern hemisphere. And the
It
closer you
didn't
are to
specifically say Northern Hemisphere, though. I saw that.
and if you live on the equator,
What is Dario Diaz's opinions?
Mr. Diaz? We're on a mission.
what do you think of the Christmas spirit or holiday cheer? The concept of that.
What?
What do you think of the Christmas spirit or?
I'll be right back.
He's so popular.
Every time we want to ask a question. Well,
So the point of non-universals, those concepts, you have to agree on a definition.
so what definition are we agreeing on for holiday spirit?
Well, we haven't really. I just don't think you can agree on one. So that is one thing that everybody
Kindness
thinks
towards all.
is universal. Okay, kindness towards all.
So we're going to agree that the holiday spirit, which should be embodied all year round per the scientists and Kurt Wissenberg, is kindness towards all.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, like
Can we
the
have
way
a
that I
motion
view- The way that I view, I guess, Christmas cheer. The way that I view life, though, is with the golden rule, and it's treat others that you wait. Treat others the way that you want to be treated, right? And I just amplify that at Christmas time or the holiday season.
And even the golden rule, though, is different for everyone
I
because
know.
everyone interprets how they want to be treated differently.
I know. So to me, I just amplify the way that I wish people would treat me during the holidays. Or try to. That's what it means to me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like you said, it's not universal.
But kindness is, correct? Is kindness a universal truth?
But everyone has a different degree of what kindness means. Like to someone saying hi would be kind. To others, them handing out food or, giving them a coat would be kind. But not to everybody.
Free hugs.
No, thank you.
So when we did the zip line at the Grand Canyon West a few weeks ago in Arizona,
Almost a
The
month
Grand
ago.
Canyon in Arizona.
yeah,
That one? That Grand
Yeah, that
Canyon?
one. You know what, Kurt?
Just double checking it wasn't the one in Vermont.
Well, that's not the Grand Canyon.
Oh.
Anyhow, when we were there in Arizona at the Grand Canyon, going to go ziplining, I gave Michaela a hug, and then I also told her that I loved her. And I told her I meant it.
Yeah, but you thought you were going to die.
I didn't think I was going to die. Well, the
Thought
sound
you could
made...
die.
I could, but I wanted to make sure she knew that. But before I go on my tangent, we've got to ask Dario Diaz that question again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kurt, what's the question?
What do you think of the holiday spirit or Christmas cheer or that general...
Just any spirit or any holiday?
No. Christmassy.
Christmas
Yeah.
spirit?
Yeah.
I think people misunderstand spirit to atmosphere. It's more Christmas atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
The Christmas spirit.
Oh,
You're
this
welcome.
is why we need you.
Ambiance.
Yeah, because necessarily spirit, I mean, you go to Walmart, I don't know if I can say brands, but if you go to a store and you'll see their decorations in September. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were just discussing how Christmas
So
comes
they-
out in July now
So there
for
is
commercialism
There's
reasons.
no such a thing as you don't feel like, oh, there is I can feel it. You're like, nah, not yet, dude. Oh,
It's 95 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Can
Oh, Christmas
you
music.
feel-
So it's like, we're not ready for this. So actually, Christmas decorations or any lights or anything, it doesn't bring any atmosphere or spirit, if you want to call it that way. It's until you know that nostalgia, or because you know the real meaning of Christmas. In this case, now we have to say holiday,
Mhm.
so we don't offend.
We don't have to.
Well, everybody says holidays.
Some people make a
The
choice
TLC
to.
Christmas
Christmas
card
card says-
refuses to say holidays.
It says Merry
Which is-
Christmas and
which is,
Happy
you
New
know,
Year.
But how many people are really like excited? Now, I'm excited because, you know, I don't know. Always, since I was little, I always loved Christmas. Now I should clarify that in Mexico we don't have Santa. There's no gifts on Christmas. So we're not like expecting.
You don't put out cookies and milk.
No.
You don't put shoes out so they can put fruit. No.
No.
What will you tell us about Christmas in Mexico?
I don't know where that's from.
Well, Christmas,
France.
we do. See, I wish it was Mexico, because the tradition is we celebrate from December 12th all the way to the 24th, and it's like, or like 2 weeks or whatever. We call it posadas, which is a traditional Christmas party. So people from, let's say, a street, completely streets in small towns or neighborhoods, they will close their street and they will go caroling home to home in all the street. The street is closed. There'll be food. Everybody has food in their own houses. So if you walk along the street and you come back, you know, everybody has food in their house. So there'll be piñatas in the middle of the street for the kids. So this happens in a different neighborhood, in a different street for 12 days
That's amazing.
until Christmas Eve.
So it's a community celebration.
And yeah, like for example, in my hometown, you can hear, you know, there's a dance, there's music, there's all food, and so people will kind of try to find out where this is at. Now, I don't go that deep, but not everybody celebrates this, but it's actually pretty cool. Now, you come over here to the United States, and there is, you know, no posadas. There is no previous huge party before Christmas, which is kind of different. So now
There's
the
individual
spirit,
ones, not community
So,
ones.
yes, it's like your job, you know, or your work,
Or
whatever.
friends. Some friends do
Friends.
Christmas parties.
But there is no now that is the real Christmas spirit because you can actually sense it, like it's there. You can actually like, dude, there is a party. There is ponche, which is a tea. There is piñatas. And
I would love it if we had pinatas.
I think you should start up caroling there, Dario.
what I did actually when we moved to our house, we hosted a posada in my house. So all the neighbors around my house, they came to my house and have food, and then we had a piñata.
Can we do this again? Can we text Mrs. Diaz and ask her if we can have posadas
I
at the
don't
Diaz?
know if we
Casa
have
del
the-
Diaz?
I don't know if we have the time to do that. But anyway,
Amazing.
to answer your question, there is no such a thing as a spirit. And you know, the thing is that all these movies, new movies, they try to portray like everybody is forgetting or about Christmas or the reason or whatever. So the only thing that fuels Santa's vehicle of transportation is the spirit of Christmas, right?
Mhm.
So now
It
everybody
was in
has
that one movie,
Elf.
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 And there's another movie. In,
There was another one though
Netflix
too.
that
Remember
is
when
like
Tim
that.
Allen was
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about
love that Santa
one
Claus,
even
by the
before
way.
him that I think was.
So last year we had an exchange student. We had Owen from the Netherlands, and he had never ever exchanged presents on the 24th or the 25th. And tradition in our house, because we've hosted so many exchange students, I always think it's weird that we would have Christmas Day on the 25th because they do Christmas on the 24th. And so Owen was saying, though, that there's this sleigh that Santa, or I forget what they call him, comes from Spain. And he comes with a big gifts for the children. And he goes through all of Denmark, through all the different areas. And not Denmark, the Netherlands. And delivers. So everyone has their gifts by like the 6th of December, which I think is technically St. Nick's Day. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, but I thought it was really unique because he's like, I have never opened presents on the 24th. He's like, we've had dinner as a family, but I've never, ever opened presents then. I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was interesting. Now, John's family, they celebrated St. Nick's Day, and that's when they'd get a present. And then they would have dinner on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with their families, but there wasn't really presents. So I think I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I loved Christmas when I was growing up because my grandma would make oyster stew on Christmas Eve, and we would all go to Mass. Well, we'd all go to Grandma's for stew, and then we'd go to Mass for candlelit service, and we'd come home and we'd all have a sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's, and we'd get up, and Grandpa would go to church, and we'd go to church, and we'd have Christmas dinner around the table, and my grandma would play the organ, and we'd dance, and it was just great. Eat really good food.
But for the most part, when I think of, family traditions around Christmas, it started with Christmas, and then the family gathering comes, and then the tradition follows.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, there's no way that it doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
So I do
That's
think
why
about
families
everyone
get together
has-
at Christmas, because it's religious based.
Mm-hmm.
It's a religious based holiday. But now, where are we now?
So
Compared
every
to 100
family
years
has
ago.
different traditions.
traditions.
Mhm.
Like my family, we always go to a Christmas Eve service. Always. And this year, because we always have, a lot of churches do their children's Christmas Eve programs before Christmas Eve. And my church has always done it on Christmas Eve. And so that's what we do. We go to Christmas Eve service, we watch the little kids program, tell the story of Jesus' birth, and then we go home and we have our own traditions that we do that night. This year it was almost threatened because we only have like 2 kids in our Sunday school, which Brooks is going to be the star, everyone. This is going to be interesting. But it is something that I've done my entire life, and it's something I look forward to. Like, I love going to the little kids program and watching 4 and 5-year-olds sing
sing
Little
and
Town of Bethlehem, or
No,
try and like be merry and
the ruffle butt tights that you always end up seeing, and
yeah.
that's always fun.
I mean, it used to be a really elaborate
Book for next year.
a really elaborate program, and it's changed over the years, but it's something that I just love and look so forward to. And I'm sad for the day where we don't have a Christmas Eve service and we have to figure out what we're going to do.
With our family, it's interesting because we used to have really, really strong traditions. But when my grandma and grandpa got older and all the kids started moving away and stuff, those things changed. And they slowly moved to my parents' house. But one of the traditions that started when I was in college, or when John and I got married, I think, we had a name drawing for one of the sides of Christmas, and we got my uncle Rodney and my aunt Naomi, and they wanted a pancake griddle. So we wrapped their present, and we're like, well, I'm so excited to give you your present. By the way, we'll be at your house tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock for breakfast. And she's like, why? Because she opens up the griddle and she realizes what we're talking about. She's like, well, I'll make you breakfast, but it'll be at 9. That tradition, which would have been like the 26th or 27th that year, moved to being Christmas Eve in the morning between our two families. And we always make brunch, and then we do things called reindeer games, and they get sillier and sillier every single year. You never know what they're going to be because my aunt usually figures it out, or me and my aunt work together, but it'll be things like, I don't know, decorate a tree blindfolded or with oven mitts or whatever. And just lots of fun games. We've done all kinds of things, but all of us kids now are, pretty much almost all of us are grown up, and we're married, and some of us have children. But it's the one thing that throughout the entire year, we sit there, we'll text each other, we'll message each other going, okay, I cannot wait till Christmas. When we have reindeer games, who's doing what, who's going to lead the meal this year, who's going to lead the games. And
Who's Rudolph?
Rudolph's not always there. But one year, one person had to dress up as Rudolph.
I think some people think that Rudolph is always pulling a sleigh.
He doesn't. It's
He
only when it's
doesn't.
foggy.
When it's foggy. And you listen to the song.
Well, hopefully it's always foggy.
Then there's like other traditions with my mom that started when I went to college, that on Christmas Eve, her and I watch Bells of St. Mary's and White Christmas while we prep everything for under the tree. But my family's gone away from gifts because I don't think we need anything. It's just spending time together, and because we live all over the country, getting to be able to be together for a couple of days.
I need a new TV, so...
The treat.
What?
But see, okay, what you're talking about is just
She
traditions.
went on Black
though.
Friday shopping.
So those traditions, they could happen
Anytime,
at any time
right.
of the year. And so I'm not sure that it qualifies is what I'm talking about.
It might not.
Because
What if I
you
don't
said-
understand what you're talking about?
Well, because it's not a universal truth what I'm talking about. It's not common knowledge.
Our wisdom just walked out the door.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still here, guys.
I wish you'd come be a part of the podcast permanently. We miss you. A lot.
He's got things to do.
Painting.
He can move his laptop in here and paint and talk.
Do you know how many times I work while on the podcast?
So, okay, let's get to the deep root of why this bothers me.
Okay.
Christmas does start really early, and people do start. The stores are full of Christmas stuff in October or sooner, and it bothers me that it's so commercial, and people want to try to replace being a decent person by just buying something for someone, and then that obligation causes stress. And I don't know what the data is, but there's more suicides around the holidays.
Yeah, there's
Or
pressure.
because of the holidays,
There's a lot of pressure.
and that pressure gets felt. Now, I don't necessarily feel that pressure but I used to. I used to feel it, but you try to sort that stuff out.
I think a lot of loneliness comes around the holidays too,
Mhm.
especially if you're single, because everybody has their families and they're doing things. They're going Christmas shopping. They're doing this with their family, doing that with your family. And if you don't have a family or you don't have a significant other and you're just by yourself, you maybe get asked to join in with other people, but then you can feel like the third wheel. You can feel like you're the charity case.
Would say that feelings on you.
It is. But it is
I
a
get it,
very
though.
true reality. If you are a single person around the holidays and you wake up on Christmas morning by yourself because you have no other choice, and everyone else is opening presents with their families, and you are back at home watching a movie or whatever, like that loneliness is there. And I think part of the Christmas spirit is a sense of community and a sense of family, and when you don't have one to go home to every night, that can get pretty hard on you.
I think it also comes to, like, John and I aren't from here. And so things like Thanksgiving
Earth? What?
from
You're
this
from Mars and
town.
Venus.
I can't talk about it. I'm in a program. Anyway, but I kind of know what you mean in the fact of when your work takes you to a place where maybe you don't live by your family. John and I have been very, very blessed in the communities that we've lived in to build our own communities, and we've had people that we've spent Christmas with or Thanksgiving and Easter with. And it's interesting now that we live here, and every once in a while we have time to go away for a holiday. We at some point made the decision that the only holiday we go back home for is Christmas, and it's with my family, because we made some agreement before we got married. But anyway, because we feel a pull towards the family and the community that we built. And so we spend Easter with some friends that we've spent Easter with so many times over the years that kind of understood where we were coming from and not being from here. Or we go back to Michigan to spend that holiday with the people that we used to spend it with, because there's a sense of community and family. But I can understand that. I remember mine and John's first Christmas. It was really different for us in the fact that we didn't buy a Christmas tree. We decorated the ficus because we weren't going to spend a lot of money on a tree. We baked all the Christmas cookies for both sides of our family, but we spent 24 hours, maybe 36 with John's family. We spent 24 hours, maybe 36 with my family. And we spent 72 hours probably on the road driving. Mm-hmm. And at some point, John and I are like, this is not, Christmas cannot be this. Or Easter cannot be this. Or just, it can't be that. Mm-hmm. So I like the traditions we've started. But it comes back down to tradition. So, but on the note of holiday spirit or kindness, one of the things that we've tried to do in our home is during those holiday times that we're home, or even when we go back to my family, is if we know that there's people who aren't spending the holidays with someone, we've invited them to our home, or we've taken them back to Minnesota. Almost every single year we've had somebody that has spent Christmas with my family that hasn't been able to spend it with their family. And we've tried to do that because I think that's important.
And I mean, like, getting involved or having other people involved, it does lessen loneliness, but that's a hard feeling to try and get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, I think that's probably why suicide, or not that alone, but it's a big
Depression's,
factor
yeah.
in why suicide is higher around the holidays, because holidays, I mean, are generally you're spending time with your family. That's what the holidays mean. That's what society has placed it as too. And if you don't have a family, or you haven't created your own version of family, and you are depressed or upset, whatever, it does make it harder. But I have a question. Do you think, because Salvation Army comes out they have their bells around Thanksgiving, and then we saw
Comes
right
out the day
before.
after Thanksgiving.
And do you think that should be out year round and not just holidays, or do you think should that just be specifically Christmas?
It's too bad that they can't raise money without the holiday traffic.
Do you think that they play on the Christmas spirit, Christmas cheer?
Oh yeah, a lot of
for
charities
people
do.
to get more money at
They
that
take
time?
advantage of the fact that people are more giving during Christmas,
And we should all be more giving year round.
and we should all be more giving year round. I hate to say this though, people also in December have gotten that note from their accountant that says, listen, you can give X amount of dollars. So I think some organizations may take advantage of tax.
I don't know
Tax
that that's
conditions,
going to be
too.
such a thing anymore, though, with the new taxation changes.
But it has been up till.
Up until now, but
Yeah, for 100
after
years.
this year, it's not. I mean, after this year, nonprofits like ours and the Edgerton, and I mean, we're going to have to really, really, really capitalize on merit because taxes aren't going to help us at all.
Separate podcast.
Separate podcast, but hashtag taxes.
Probably
are
that should be
theft.
my personal podcast. we shouldn't do that one.
No, we
here.
maybe shouldn't. You know, if we look at kindness, though, in spirit, I think it's kind of exciting the direction that we as a business, both in education and just as a business as a whole and how we interact with our team, have tried to really encourage kindness and that spirit of kindness all the time. I think that's our way of combating seasonal kindness. Not combating, but encouraging the season to be longer. I don't know.
I can't say that I agree or disagree with that. Because, okay, so are we trying to be leaders or managers? I always go back to that in my little notebook here.
Mhm.
Are we leading? Are we managing? So shouldn't you just be nice to people? Just because you should be nice to people.
Yeah.
Whether it's advantageous within your company or...
Absolutely.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we've made that a priority in saying that, look, humankind isn't always kind, but here we are going to be. So that'd be leading.
That'd be what?
That would be leading.
That would be leading.
Mm-hmm. So then the question is leaders or servants?
Right. Servant leadership. It's probably another podcast.
Probably.
Maybe we get to the point where we start just saying holiday cheer, Christmas spirit. It's a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's overdone. It's overemphasized. And people really need to remind themselves what is actually important. And I think a lot of people do this after the holidays. They sit back and they say, okay, what was actually important? Was it the cool toy that the kids got that now they're playing with the box? Or you look back and say, or did the kids around Christmas time have more fun just playing with their cousins that they don't see maybe twice a year?
Well, you can also, parlay that into resolutions. And the resolutions that people make every year and the ones that they actually stick to. Because those are the ones that actually mean something and are important to them.
Do you do New Year's resolutions?
Not really.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I just said not really.
I do April 17th resolutions. No, I don't. But I mean, it's arbitrary.
I do June 4th resolutions. I do, actually.
Okay.
We do. That's mine and
I
John's
mean, like-
anniversary, and we always go over and we reevaluate what we love. You know, we talk about our year, and what we loved, and what we hope the next year's going to be.
I say what I hope to happen, but I don't I used to be like, I'm gonna start working out and I'm gonna lose weight. I was one of those people, but now that's just become part of my life. It's a lifestyle change that I decided to make and needed to make. So that isn't a resolution because I'm gonna stick to that for the rest of my life. Otherwise, I make a vision board. I started that last year, and I will make another vision board because nothing came true.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know what's on your board. My mom said I was too goal oriented to ever make resolutions because I make goals, and then when I accomplish that goal, I make a new goal. And I'm not going to wait till January 1st to do that. So
I enjoyed the vision board process though. So that's something I'm going to stick to yearly. I don't remember when I made mine. It was not January though. I think it was March or April. But I had that out for the majority of my year. So if you came to my house, you saw it because I had it out.
It's on a chair in the corner of a dining room.
It was.
Saw it right when you walked in the door.
It's now in my closet.
You couldn't not see it actually when it was out, which is good because that's the point.
It's a giant foam core. Board.
We do vision boards in our.
January runs an arbitrary day. It's arbitrary because it's just another day.
It is.
Just like Christmas, or not Christmas, but December 25th is just another day.
Because
And
if
so
we
I
took
think-
back the history, Jesus wasn't born then.
Well, and that's why I corrected myself and said not Christmas, December 25th.
Was it?
Just a day on a calendar, arbitrary day. And so when I think back to, because I go through the same thing you go through, wake up in the morning on December 25th, okay, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I may or may not see my kids on that day, but I don't see my kids every day anyway. So it's just, to me, it's kind of arbitrary. I have to treat it as such. Otherwise, it's very sad.
It is, because you think of, like I think of my brother and my sister-in-law who are with my nephews, and they're opening presents, and they're eating breakfast, and they're sitting and playing with toys, and granted, I know that it's complete chaos because I get the Snapchat videos, and my brother's super annoyed because Brooks wants to open 1,000-piece Legos or whatever. and put them
Duh, well,
together.
why'd you get them?
Yeah. but it's like the thought of waking up to that kids being happy, or, you know, like to that camaraderie and that joy. And you're hanging out and you're with your coffee watching Christmas movie or the Yule log. That's what I watched last year.
So I've never had that on Christmas because Christmas I either stayed at my brother and sister-in-law's or I was at home. I do understand that for Thanksgiving and Easter. And for my families, when growing up, Thanksgiving and Easter were very, very big family-oriented holidays. And so I understood that because in college, I worked and I was happy to work. And
I'm now creating my own traditions by myself.
that I think is important.
So I have my Halloween tradition that I do by myself. Once my trick-or-treaters are gone, I watch Hocus Pocus with a
And-
glass of wine.
Just one glass.
Just one. Well, it maybe not be
Tradition,
wine,
unless it's a Sunday. If it's Sunday fun day, then
but it could be.
Our
I mean,
rules are
a
all-
drink, an adult beverage of choice, and then I usually have a cup of coffee and I watch a Christmas movie the day of Christmas, or I work out. Like this year, I'll probably work out because it's a Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
So I'll probably work out in the morning. And
So
Because it's a Tuesday.
it's 'cause
it is
it's
a Tuesday, and
I
my
know.
workout schedule is I work out on Tuesdays.
That's what I'm
So,
saying,
But if
arbitrary
you
day.
look at traditions, you know, my family, one of the things that we do is we go to Michaela's house for trick-or-treating. And we don't actually trick-or-treat. We go to Michaela's house, we go to April's house, and we go
You
to
went
Cal's
to you went
house.
to my neighborhood this
This year
though.
we went to Michaela's neighborhood because April wasn't going to be there and Cal wasn't home. We used to go to the Diaz's, but the Diaz's have a little boy and they go out. So a lot of times we'll see them around, but our tradition is we go to Michaela's house. We usually go to April's house and Cal's house and we get tacos. We don't trick or treat. We don't do the streets.
I usually order pizza for Halloween, but I didn't this
But
year.
I love going to Michaela's house because it's really fun to see her. And Cal and Sarah, love seeing them. I think they give my son too much candy. April, love seeing her and her husband. When we go to the Diaz's, that was always fun because Sarah really gets into Halloween and it's a great time. Thanksgiving, we've started our own tradition. We go run a half marathon and then we do Village Inn. And then we have Thanksgiving at night with our family. But it's our family. And we do things like we make hand turkeys every year. And this year we weren't home for Thanksgiving because we decided to spend it with Rita. So the next day we made Thanksgiving dinner and we made hand turkeys. And it was great. So some of that stuff I get. And I do get what you're saying, though, is if you have to think about it as a Tuesday. So that it's...
But it is.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have any input?
It's not
on-
hard for me, though, to think of it just as a Tuesday.
So...
Maybe it used to not be.
I think my
easy, but it
first
is
Christmas
now.
on my own, was hard. After I moved out of my parents' house and I was they were together, Brett and Aaron were together, and I was by myself. Like, I just had Frankie.
Frankie's a cat.
Yeah, Frankie's my cat.
Frankie's awesome.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Another podcast.
Dario,
Another
do you have any
episode.
traditions that you guys do
Yeah, what
for
do you do?
Christmas or Thanksgiving?
For Christmas traditions,
Or Thanksgiving, yeah.
what do we do?
Sarah makes really good Christmas cookies.
They make hundreds and hundreds of cookies. that
They're
we
awesome.
Deliver to people around the neighborhood and our old neighborhood here in Aurora. And then on Christmas Eve, we all gather together in our house and we have an exchange $35 gift. And then in Christmas morning, opening big packages with snowboards.
That was this year. This last year.
Santa.
She brought a really cool snowboard for you.
And then Sarah will make a little breakfast, and then we eat cookies. And we normally get a, I don't know what kind of Italian bread that they always send. So we'll eat Italian bread and coffee or tea or eggnog.
You have a lot of
Spiked eggnog.
options in your
No,
tradition.
it's a lot of eating.
So, our house, we don't do Christmas until New Year's Eve.
Yeah, 'cause you're not here.
So we don't have the tradition of Santa in our house. Not because I'm anti-Santa. Just we celebrate on Christmas Eve.
Well, you're going to stay on the naughty list with that attitude.
I'll tell you, Santa has been really nice the last few years, and he's dropped a present from his grandparents in Wisconsin off at the grandparents in Minnesota's house.
Well, they'll do that.
Chaz,
I mean,
and he leaves a note.
Just like you.
Really nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's very, very handy. The great thing about not doing Christmas at our house, though, like that, and knowing that my parents don't do a lot of gifts or anything, is that Chaz gets to grow up with experiences and memories versus us hauling home boxes and boxes of toys that he doesn't need. And I appreciate that a lot. Because I didn't grow up with that kind of stuff, so I like that it's mostly memories and it's experiences and it's time with people.
I love getting to watch my nephews open presents now. Because Brooks now gets into it. Reed is kind of at the careless stage, but Brooks, he's really into opening presents and helping, and it's fun to watch him get excited about stuff.
One year we were watching kids open presents, and they were opening, and they weren't even paying attention to what they were getting. They just wanted to open up it was like a dopamine rush. Just,
Yeah,
open
rip
up
the
another
paper,
thing,
open
another
it,
thing.
Move on.
And I just remember saying to my mom, next year, and from then on out, we are not doing presents. We don't get to see each other enough. We're not doing presents.
We don't really do presents
And we
at my
stopped.
grandma's.
And I love it. And I absolutely love it.
I get two things. My grandma will compile something from around her house or the thrift shop or whatever into a bag or the dollar store, and then that's the only present I usually get at my grandma's Christmas. We don't really do presents there. We never really, we used to kind of, but not really. We just go and we gather and we eat. We've had soup the last few years. We've done chicken noodle and taco soup usually, and we just hang out as a family.
One year, my Aunt Bethany wrapped up her damn cat.
In Christmas Vacation, I still think Dario needs to be Cousin Eddie.
Oh, he does!
I try, but
One year, my mom wrapped up a piece for a tractor for my stepdad, and it didn't work because she had bought something else and he had to go find it. And my brother got a new mattress, so she wrapped up a crib mattress, and then he had to go find it. And so that year, we went looking for things. It was kind of fun.
One year, we came home. I remember we came home from the orthodontist, and the UPS guy had dropped off a present in
a package, which was one of my presents, in the garage. And so we're pulling into the garage, and I got a keyboard. And pull in, and I see this giant keyboard box leaning up against the wall of the garage. And I was like, oh. And I was all excited. My mom's like, that's not for you. She's pretending, right? She's pretending. And when it comes to Christmas, and we're opening up presents, and she brings up the presents that she's hid and whatever. And I'm opening up presents, and I know the keyboard's not here. And I get done opening presents, and we all get done opening presents. I'm like, I'm missing something. And my mom's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And I was like, no, I'm missing something. And then all of a sudden she disappears and comes back out with this keyboard. She's like, so mad at the UPS driver. This was supposed to be a surprise. That I love.
Had
that
I
keyboard.
ever said I'm missing something, my mom would have probably returned all my presents because she would have thought I went through the closets.
And I was like, I love that
Did you?
keyboard so much.
I did 1 year,
You got caught.
yes. But I didn't get caught in the motion. Like, my mom just knew that
She could tell when you're opening stuff.
So we used to live in this house in Pennock, Minnesota, and my mom hid, for what it was, but she hid something in a closet in the bathroom that was also the laundry room. We had this big whatever, and I remember, I don't even think I was looking for that. I was looking for something else, and I found it. I was like, it was so great, but I didn't put it back exactly right and cover it up exactly. So she did. She took it back. I didn't get it.
So this is me. This is like quintessentially me. I did it once. My brother had bought me a present from American Eagle, and it was in a clothing box, and I knew. And so I was like shaking the package, and I was too damn curious. And I popped open the box, and I looked in and saw what it was. I went immediately to tell my mom that I opened the present because I felt so guilty.
Told on yourself?
I told on myself because I felt so guilty that I had opened a present before Christmas. That's the only time I've ever snuck a package. Ever.
I've never, like...
And I felt guiltier than freaking... I told my brother then. I was like, I'm so sorry I opened the package before Christmas.
I think last year was the first year that I hadn't guessed what John bought me, like, unintentionally. And
I always get a text message from John Bader. What does Miley want?
for Christmas. No, so
what palette does she want from Tarte?
Like, I don't want one this year. No, our very first Christmas together, he's like, all of a sudden it just came to him. He's like, oh, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. And we're driving down the road, going to speak at an event. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I'm like, driving. I'm like, you're totally getting me a giant Post-it note, aren't you? And he's like, I didn't even say anything. One of my favoriteest gifts ever. Giant Post-it notepads. Perfect.
They are handy.
Awesome. They're awesome. Best Christmas present ever. Loved it.
I'm going to ask my mother where she hid things, because I looked. I don't think I ever found anything when I was a kid.
There's a lot of hiding spots in our house.
Yeah,
so
there was
Yeah,
lots
but
of
as a
hiding
kid,
spots.
you know most of the places.
I never look. I honest to goodness, never looked for Christmas presents ever.
Where do you think they were?
You did.
No, I really never
Oh,
did.
my mom
But where,
would hide
looking back,
them
where do you
in
think they
the-
were?
But my mom would bring them out from downstairs, so I know at some point they
Oh, no.
they were down in her framing room. But also, like,
You live on a farm, though.
I
There's
live on a
so
farm.
many places you
but
can
the
hide
thing
things.
is like Santa always came to our house Christmas Eve, and so when we went to church, my mom would always be
Last one out the house.
yes, and I didn't pick up on it until like the very end of it. Why mom would be the last one out of the house?
You're like 14 before you catch on.
No, like 10. I was 10.
She hasn't caught on
And I
yet.
didn't even
She's
then
just realizing
catch
it
onto it.
right now.
No, I literally, it was just like a few years ago, it dawned on me, like, mom was getting the presents out, and I didn't even realize it. I'd come home and Santa had been there, and the milk was gone, and there was a bite in the cookie. Like, whatever. I was so
Your mom
nice.
came out to the car, wiping cookie crumbs from her mouth.
No, she
You
never
didn't
did.
get it.
She never did. But my brother was just like,
Mom, why do you have a
Brett's,
milk mustache?
Brett's 8 years older than me. She would dump it down the
Santa brought my brother a dog one year, my brother Jacob. a dog in a 60-pound bag of horse food because he was testing the waters. He said to my mom, he's like, well, if Santa's real, he'll bring me a 60-pound bag of horse food. I was like, it doesn't come in a 60-pound bag. Like, that's not a thing. So we left church early and went and picked this dog up middle of the state and hid it in the dog crate with my Great Dane. And my mom, lucky her, works for an elevator. And she made sure it weighed 60
Custom bag.
custom bag.
Like an elevator, like in a building, or like a.
yeah, she just went and pushed 6'4". Ding, ding, ding.
There is such a thing.
I know.
Genius.
There's doormen for elevators. Yes.
You know, when I was, I think 5, we lived in an apartment in Candy, Ohio, Minnesota, and it was just a 2-bedroom apartment, and we didn't have a tree or anything, and we were at my grandparents', and my dad had come home for this Christmas, and we had gotten sleeping bags, and all the kids, each family got a folding table, a little kid's folding table with chairs. Anyway, when we went back to our house, somebody had come in our house and put up a Christmas tree and had decorated it. And there was a gift for my mom and for my brother and for me underneath there. And I, to this day, have no idea who ever did that. But that's the Christmas spirit in a lot of ways, I think. Like, I to this day have no idea who did it. And it wasn't my mom. Because I remember my mom being a little bit heartbroken that we might not have a tree. And my mom loved decorating trees. So anyway, yeah, I remember that. I just thought of that. It's kind of a sweet thing.
If I go home Saturday and somebody put a tree up in my house,
It's Miley.
no, I'm hunting for who did that. They're not allowed in.
My tree's up and ready.
I put a tree.
It randomly flashes.
Let me see. I would have to break in through the dryer vent. First, I would have to find your house.
Yeah, that's a good
It's a
point
corner
too.
lot.
Corner lot.
I almost got the keys to
What
the
about 8
shed
corners
once.
in Plymouth? So there you go, narrowed down.
It's got a front porch because he sits on it and he takes pictures.
He does. I almost.
There's no grass in the
I wanted
backyard.
to mow his lawn. So
Yes.
I told him that I was going to take up meditating and yoga in his garden shed. And he was really legitimately going to give me a key. And then he was like, before I give you a key, you better tell me what exactly you're actually doing. And then he was like, I will mow my lawn. And I was like, but I wanted to do that for you because you hate mowing lawn and you work really hard. And I just thought that would be one thing we could take off your list. He didn't let me do that.
Mm-mm.
So I'm fairly certain I'm not breaking into his house to put up a Christmas
No, but
tree.
I bet you we could find it.
Oh, I bet you and I could absolutely
Well,
find
I
it.
know.
you know what my pickup looks like,
I haven't
right?
seen it in a long time,
Yeah,
but I
but-
think I could figure it
Yeah.
out.
Pick up.
Yeah, it's a block.
I know what your neighbor's house looks like because one time you sent a snapshot and across the street, or was it next?
Also, I hate to say that you could check my personnel file for my address and
That's
do
too.
that.
I hate finding keys to do that, so I won't be doing that.
400
It's not as fun as sleuthing it out.
There's only 400 people in the town, so
Oh, you know what? His past student
You know, I could figure
is
it
a
out.
postmaster in the post office at Plymouth,
true.
so we could ask her.
actually, she got transferred to Beatrice.
Oh,
I could
well,
figure
I
it out,
have
though.
Kate.
I have sleuthing
I have
skills.
Kate's phone number,
Mm-hmm.
and Kate's brother. Well, now I have Kate's brother's phone number. He knows where
Mm-hmm.
Whist lives.
You would be surprised though. He would not be so quick to tell you. He would be concerned for my safety. He's not
No,
just gonna willy-nilly.
Because he was willing to go mow your lawn for me.
Yeah, but did he tell you where I lived? That's 2 different things. He already knew. See,
He asked me if I was going to meet him there, or if I was going to mail him the key.
this is ridiculous. Off the rails. You're off the
Tangent.
rails. Tangent of a tangent.
Okay, so I'm excited that the Leadership Center is looking a little bit like Christmas.
We found baby Jesus this week.
We did! We did!
Somebody found Jesus this morning.
And Mary!
There's no Joseph.
No, Joseph
There's no
left
Joseph.
the party. No, he left the party a couple years ago.
Really think about it. In the story, the Christmas story, Joseph wasn't that needed. What did he do? Lead a donkey?
Well, he
Yeah.
took
Let's
it.
talk about that a little. I mean, that's his
Okay.
role, right?
Can we do a little pause here?
Okay.
So some of my friends are texting me, and I said I'm on a meeting. And
Are you videotaping me right now? Oh, he's videotaping this. Oh my gosh.
Meeting.
So one of my friends said, "Oh, I have to do this again."
Yeah.
Okay, one of your friends said.
We're trying to go live during the podcast.
Yeah, we're
At
trying
least
to-
we're not on the
Dario's
phone. Let's see if this goes better.
Dario's got.
Anyway, so I'm talking with my friends, and they were texting me. I text back, and I sent a little video of what we were doing, because I said I'm on a meeting, and they're like, "What meeting?" So I said I'm on a meeting, and a friend of mine was interested in Michaela.
You know, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, I mean, who
So,
wouldn't be?
His name is Oscar.
Well, that's a great name.
So can you say something to
Hey,
Oscar? Michaela?
hey, Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
Can you say Feliz Navidad?
No.
Merry Christmas. Hey, Oscar, I'm going to put her phone number down on a piece of paper and just hold it here for you.
Oh, I can give.
Yeah.
I didn't say I'm in Dario's phone.
Yeah, Dario's got her number. So.
So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys.
That's why it's just angled right.
Oh my gosh! I love the fact that on almost every episode of this podcast, we have managed to talk about
See your
Michaela's.
face, he was like,
He's trying to make sure you don't have a lonely Christmas.
I feel I'm red.
you were like super red.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Anyway, we found Jesus, baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Found baby Jesus today.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk about that. Do we want to read a passage so we know that we're not going to set off comments?
Holy.
I,
I love the fact that you were open. You didn't like just
Do you
immediately.
expect him not to be
No,
open?
No.
He would totally
No.
just flat out say that.
I appreciate that you didn't just turn around and face the corner of me,
I-
or share the universal symbol for hello.
but you had no choice.
'Cause I
You
would.
had to say
'Cause
hello,
I would.
Oscar.
So
You had to say hello, Oscar. You were put on the spot, and you really had no choice. You had to do it. This
I
is
didn't
what-
have a problem doing it.
me
I'm
tell
just really red right now.
He was so red.
I have a parallel.
Really hot.
Dudes who
My
ask
cheeks are
their girlfriends to marry him in public, in a public place. I
Hate
think
it.
I think it's a terrible thing because you just put that woman in a place where she can't say no.
I would have said no. That's a terrible thing.
That's why I don't like that. But anyway.
I don't like that.
But okay, so
I don't want the
Although when
attention.
Michaela gets proposed to,
I don't want the
Oscar,
attention.
I hope you're listening. It's not about being public, but we have to make sure we have a photographer because Michaela has asked for it. And we have to make sure her nails are done.
oh, that's a personal request from her then.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
I-
an
So
But
example.
Oscar, make sure we're
No,
in the
but
loop.
but honestly, I don't want it to be a public
No,
proposal
you
because this right here,
She's pointing at her beautiful face,
What
by
if
the
it's-
way.
that
No,
is
no.
like cherry red.
What if it's Fenway?
Oh yeah, what if it's Fenway on home base?
Did you say
Yeah,
home
but you
base?
can
Home
arrange
plate?
that
Home
to
plate.
be by yourself.
Or
I'm not saying big screen. I'm just maybe even it's just like a
Low key,
Yeah.
let me drop to my knee. That would be
Yeah.
like I just don't want a grand gesture, like a super grand gesture.
Yeah.
in front of people. You would like the grand gesture.
but not a production.
I just don't.
She was just a tiny
I don't like being the center of attention.
You sit in the corner. Okay, you're fine. It's all arbitrary. Do you need a fan?
I don't know, but my
So-
face just keeps getting warm and warm and warm.
All right, so bottom line, I want to wrap this up. All right, I have Christmas cheer. I really do. I'm kind of a jerk, and I'm very like
Your happy face and mad face look the same.
look the same, and so I try. I don't get too high, I don't get too low. Try to, but I do have holiday cheer and Christmas spirit and stuff like that. But I ask that question every year, probably for the past 10 years. I ask that of people: are you just nice during the holidays, or wouldn't it be great if everybody had this spirit year round? You know, because people are nicer. I think people are nicer. And yeah, Christmas is commercial and we exploit the season and stuff like that. But I think people genuinely are a little bit nicer. I think people make an effort. And I say, wouldn't it be great if we did that year round?
But if that's the case, then people are nicer now. That's okay too.
Yeah, it's okay. It is.
It is. Dario officially joined back on the podcast, everyone.
What?
So great. We have a special guest today, everybody. Dario Diaz.
He's not a special guest. He was an originator and actually
He's
like
here.
He's the deal of the week.
Found
Have
it.
you done the deal of the week this
No,
week?
no,
You haven't
I
filmed
haven't.
one? Okay.
it's been a
Well, we're going to wrap this
Okay.
up. This has been the Hospitality Authority podcast here on the beautiful campus of the Leadership Center in Aurora, Nebraska. Thank you for listening, all 12 of you. Go tell a friend. More to come. Thank you. Bye.